Let me get this out of the way. I love Mario games, but I'm not the world's biggest fan of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. Even though the first one on Nintendo DS was a throwback to the classic Marios I loved, it just never felt quite right to me. I thought the visuals were bland, I hated the new power-ups, and the whole game just felt soulless. Now, I thought the Wii one was considerably better, with stronger, more diverse level design, fun power-ups, and of course 4-player multiplayer, which granted came with its own set of problems. But it still fell short of eliciting the sheer joy that the classic Marios gave me. And now Nintendo's added it again with New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Nintendo 3DS. So does it continue the series' uphill trend, and how's it stack up to the originals? Let's find out. Okay, there's no avoiding it. This game looks a lot like its predecessors. Hell, most of the levels look and sound as if they were ripped right from the Wii one. You'll find a lot of the same enemies, same level themes, and even the same music, just with a few small changes. Here's a quick comparison of the title screen theme from New Super Mario Bros. Wii and New Super Mario Bros. 2. Yup, it's basically the same song except a little bit more upbeat. And that's how it is for the entire game. I don't think I even heard a single new song in any of the levels. And you probably noticed how similar the games look as well. So it's very clear the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. At least on the surface. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll find that the gameplay, though overall similar, has enough new features that actually makes the game feel, dare I say, different. Now, unless you've been living inside a warp pipe, you've probably heard about the game's emphasis on coins. Yep, you'll find them everywhere now. But instead of feeling like they were scattered all over, their placement actually feels incredibly thoughtful, especially when they seem to magically appear as a direct result of one of your actions, which just feels right in this game. And the coin placement actually lends a very rewarding feel to the platforming itself. You didn't just make that jump, but now you're richer too. Yeah, it's really just a simple exploit of how our brains work, but it really does feel good. Though oddly, the game provides no context or reason for why exactly you should be looking for the coins, which is a missed opportunity. Now there's other ways to earn coins too, besides just looking for them, thanks to a couple of new items. First up is the gold flower, which allows you to throw gold fireballs that turns anything they touch into coins. Then there's the gold ring, which turns every single enemy into a coin-making machine, but only for a limited time. And some classic items return too, such as my personal favorite, Raccoon Mario. Though there is one downside to this power-up, which is really just a symptom of a larger problem. This game is pretty easy. Even putting aside the fact that you can fly over vast portions of each level with a raccoon suit, or simply run through them with a Mega Mushroom, I can't think of a single level that I really got hung up on. Now granted, I've been playing Mario games for a long time, so I've gotten pretty good at them, but I was just replaying Super Mario Bros. 3 a few weeks ago and found that game to be much more challenging. And it doesn't help that since you still get a 1-up for every 100 coins, you'll probably have hundreds of them by the end of the game. With all that being said, I didn't find it detracted from the game too much, though I wouldn't have minded a little bit more of a challenge, especially from the game's special worlds. But the game's overall ease does lead to another problem. You can actually blow through all the main worlds in just a few hours, even though it features the most levels of any new Super Mario Bros. Game. Fortunately, if you want to see everything this game has to offer, you'll have to track down the 3 star coins hidden in every level, which will easily double, if not triple, your game time. Particularly as some of them are really hard to find, unless you're using our video guide of course. Even with the overall lacking difficulty, this game still features some of the best level design in the entire new Super Mario Bros. Series. Not only does it switch things up constantly, as with the fantastic ghost houses, but nearly every level is paced perfectly, like a well-designed roller coaster. And even though they weren't putting up too much of a challenge, I was still having a blast romping through each level. Unfortunately, the entire game is still tarnished by the series' dull art style that really sucks some of the life out of these otherwise energetic worlds. But I will say that New Super Mario Bros. 2 does seem to have a little bit more charm than previous games in the series. Just check out the game's title screen. Oh, that rascally Luigi. I love little touches like that, and you'll find them scattered throughout the game. Even the music, though nearly identical to previous games, has been infused with an infectious amount of happiness that I grew to really enjoy. Oh no! See, even Mario can take all that happiness. Now since this is the first side-scrolling Mario game on the 3DS, you might be wondering how the 3D is in the game. Well, wonder no more, as this game probably makes the worst use of the 3D screen of any Nintendo-made game I've played. It's not that it's actually bad, it's just that it's barely there at all. It's simply not worth the battery drain for such a minimal benefit, particularly since the game increasingly blurs the background the stronger you make the 3D effect. It seems like a neat touch at first, until you realize you're losing a ton of the game's background detail. But if anything, the most disappointing aspect of the 3D is how it doesn't factor into the gameplay at all, which is in stark comparison to Super Mario 3D Land. I was really hoping Nintendo would leverage the 3DS's screen to provide a greater level of interaction between the foreground and background, similar to Donkey Kong Country Returns. But aside from some hints of this in the final level, there's nothing like this to be seen at all, which is a missed opportunity. But despite this, New Super Mario Bros. 2 still features some of the best level design in the series, falling short of only Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World. Unfortunately, the uninspired visuals and recycled music take their toll, lending the game more a feeling of familiarity than the magic that Mario's been known for. It's still a lot of fun, but even the new additions can't help the game fully escape the feeling that you've been there and done that before. And yet, it's still the best game in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, which is why I'm giving the single player 4 stars out of 5. But we're not done yet, since there's still 2-player co-op to talk about. It plays very similar to New Super Mario Bros. Wii, except with only 2 players instead of the maximum of 4. But the reduced player count actually helps the game feel a little bit more focused and less hectic. Except for the fact that you can now battle for control of the camera, which is actually kind of fun. Unfortunately, each player is required to have a copy of the game, and it only works locally as there's no online option. Overall, co-op mode doesn't really make the game better or worse, it's just a different way to play that's still a lot of fun, so we're giving the co-op mode 4 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain.com for much more on New Super Mario Bros. 2.